Solar energy. Solar energy is an alternative for fuel cells. Solar energy is alternate for fossil fuels. Right. So one fine day, the entire petrol, diesel, kerosene, water obtaining from the crude petroleum oil may get extinct. That time you're supposed to depend upon the normal renewable energy. So you have different types of renewable energy. One such renewable energy is solar energy. Until sun exists, this solar energy also will exist. See, the device which is used to convert solar energy into usable form are called as PV cells. So let us see the construction working of PV cells, the importance of PV cells, and also advantages and limitations of the solar cells, and also the construction the manufacturing of these PV cells too. So what are this light? You know that, right? So the PV cells to work, light is very important. So what is light? Light is composed of tiny packets of energy called as photons. So photons may differ from masses varying from small amount of energy. So a solar cell, so you know that you have seen solar panel in almost all houses, right? A panel is composed, a panel contains a solar cell. A solar cell is a semiconductor device which converts photons from the sun into electricity. So the main device which is used is called as photovoltaic cell or PV cell or solar cells. The solar cells or PV cells or photovoltaic cells are the devices which convert solar energy into electrical energy. So let us see some of the importance of these PV cells. So the PV cells are eco-friendly. PV cells produce power for spacecrafts and satellites. So the satellites and spacecrafts which are present there also need electricity to work, right? We cannot put batteries there. So batteries also have some period. After 2 years or 3 years or maximum 6 years even they will not work. Then continuous energy should be there. How energy is there? So we're going to when they work on this solar cells. So on atmosphere 24/7 365 days solar cells will solar energy sunlight will be present. Only on the earth we have morning and evening. So until sunlight shines on the solar cells, the light energy will be converted into electricity. Right? Once sunlight stops, you cannot withdraw any electricity. But there, the atmosphere, 24/7, 365 days, sunlight will be striking. The light will be converted into electrical energy. That energy can be used for working of spacecrafts and satellites. So during conversion of solar energy into electrical energy, it does not pollute. Therefore, they are eco-friendly. It is easy installation. Wear and tear is not there. It works at ambient temperature. So PV cells are main source of energy in traffic lights, in forests, right? So it is used in calculators, traffic signals, watches. It is used in domestic appliances, in cookers, right? Solar cookers we have. So in forest it is the main source of energy, and they are also effectively used in transport system. So the raw material silicon is use of PV cells is abundantly available. So these are the importance of PV cells. So let us see the construction and working of PV cell. The photovoltaic cells are semiconductor device which convert solar energy into electrical energy. When we take the cross section of PV cell, the PV cell looks like this. PV cells. So the metallic grid, PV cells acts as semiconductor device or semiconductor diode. So metallic grid forms one of the electrical contact and allow light to fall on the semiconductor device. So the anti-reflective layer will be coated in between the grid lines in order to increase the light transmitted to the semiconductor. When the light falls on the semiconductor, it should be absorbed, not reflected. If light is reflected, then what is the fun in having solar cells, right? So whatever light falls on the semiconductor, it should be absorbed, it should not be reflected. So in order to increase the absorbance of the light, an anti-reflective layer will be coated. Okay, so usually silver nitride will be coated, therefore it will not reflect, it will enhance the absorbance of the light. The other electrical contact is formed by metallic layer which is behind the PV cell. When light radiation falls on PV cells, electron hole pairs are generated. So when it falls on PV cells, electron hole pairs are generated at p-n junction. So you know that it is formed by p type and n type semiconductor. When it falls on p-n junction, electron hole pairs are generated. So as you know that n type is rich with electrons. Electrons will get drifted towards the n type, and you know that p type is rich with holes. Holes will get drifted towards the p type. When two ends are externally connected, the current flows through the external circuit. So whatever current comes, that current is called as PV current or photovoltaic current. This is about the construction and working of photovoltaic cells. So until sunlight shines on the PV cells, we can obtain the current. Once the sunlight stops shining on the solar cells or PV cells, we can no more withdraw the current. So let us discuss the advantages and disadvantages of PV cells. The PV cells are environmentally friendly. You know that it does not produce any products which are toxic, but therefore they are eco-friendly. They do not need recharging, do not corrode. Silicon, right, does not corrode, operate at low temperature, no emission, no combustion, high public acceptance and excellent record, low operating cost, no moving parts, no wear and tear. So these are the advantages of photovoltaic cells. They do not corrode. So since there is no combustion reaction itself, unlike your internal combustion engines, since there is no combustion, there is no emission. Since there is no emission, there are no toxic gases. There is no emission, there is no question of toxic gases. Right? Since there is no question of toxic gases, they are eco-friendly. They are not moving one place to another part. Right? So therefore, there is no wear and tear. So it's low operating cost. So you're not going to change the oil. Right? So if you take your engine, IC engine, lubricant should be there. Right? And you're supposed to feed petrol, diesel every now and then. But here, there is no lubrication, there is no feeding, only sun. Until sun is there, this will work. Right? Sun, raw material is light. Light will be there every time. So these are the major advantages of your solar energy. So disadvantages. The installation cost is high installation cost. Why the installation cost is high? So, and energy can be produced only during the daytime. So installation cost is high because PV cells are costly. Why PV cells are costly? Because synthesis of photovoltaic cells are costly. Why it is costly? Silicon is, you can question, right? Silicon is abundantly available. Sir, you already told we have silicon abundantly available in our seashores. But the silicon used here should be, it is called as solar grade silicon. Manufacturing the solar grade silicon, the process is costly. Since that process is costly, the PV cells are costly. Therefore, installation cost is also costly. So R&D is going on in order to bring down the processing cost of the solar grade silicon. If the processing cost of solar grade silicon or manufacturing cost is brought down, obviously the PV cells will be available like your normal watches. Right? If that is done, then each and every house can be powered by solar cells. Right? We can no more depend upon our power supply boards, state boards. Right? So energy can be produced only during daytime. So as I told, until the sun is shining on the PV cells, we can withdraw the power. So once it is stopped, we cannot. So now anyhow batteries are obtained. So once the sunlight is shining during daytime, the energy can be stored, and when sun is not there, we can use from the batteries. So it is not a big deal, right? So daytime anyhow the sun energy is not required, light is not required. So in absence in night time, we can use that power jar is saved. Sunlight is diffuse source. So when sunlight is less, so it is tropical region. So in Andhra Pradesh, we can expect more, Rajasthan expect more, right? In cloudy days, especially in cloudy days, what will happen? The output will be less. So it is seasonal also. Of course, that is one of the disadvantage. In Bangalore, right, in OT, it is not used. So it is one of the major disadvantage of the photovoltaic cell. So in our next session, we'll discuss about synthesis or manufacture of solar grade silicon. Thank you.